Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Monday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Monday, that means Monday Night Football. There you go, Scott. We're supposed to have maybe a second game tonight, but that ain't going to happen. They've moved that from the New England game from tonight to next Sunday. And starting to do a little bit of shuffling here with the old Corona. You think, are we going to make it, Scott? We're going to make it through this season?
I got to assume we can. All you have to do is get to the playoffs and then hopefully set up some type of makeshift bubble thing, kind of like what we did with the NBA.
Long way to the playoffs, brother.
A long way to go. Are there going to be more COVID problems? Duh. Yeah, there's going to be some problems going through. I mean, we're only at week 5, and we've already had – I don't even know how many teams have had a positive COVID test right now. Of course, the Titans are the main team because they had double-digit people, but Chiefs had somebody, Raiders had somebody, the Bears had somebody. Yeah. Do the Bills have anybody? I don't know. Either or, you've had a handful of teams who've already been impacted by COVID, and I think that number will continue to go up. But I don't know. NFL is going to continue trying to mix and match the schedule to fix whatever issue they have, and we'll see what happens. But definitely not the greatest start for COVID with regard to the NFL season, but there's so much money at stake, they'll find a way to get it done.
Okay.
I'm assuming you agree with that.
Yeah. We're going to have to see what the fall/winter brings.
Yeah.
But, hopefully they'll take this seriously and start to. These guys get tested every day. I don't know how you test them more. You can't, other than keeping them in the bubble. I don't know how you.
Yeah, I think the main thing is getting to the playoffs, and then at that point you can make the argument saying they'll move to a bubble for the playoffs.
Although some teams have fans. And
I think fans, even though they're important, are a secondary concern.
No, I agree, but I just don't know. Of course, when they did the baseball, when they did the NBA bubble, nobody was going to have fans anyway. So, yeah. It's just,
I'm saying as much as the NFL wants fans and everything, they will easily rather just – if they had a choice between having no fans and shutting down the season, they're picking no fans. That's all I'm saying.
Scott, let's talk about this game tonight. Chargers and Saints. Saints had been a 7-point favorite pretty much all week long. That's dropped down to 6.5. And the total has dropped from 50 to 49.5 on this one. So a lot of Charger and under money. Do you understand either move there, Scott?
I understand the Chargers move because even though they are not the greatest team, they have been competitive. So I do understand that idea, especially since the Saints have not looked as sharp as people thought they would have at the start of the season. For the total, not really. I know the Chargers have a couple of offensive line injuries, which could play a factor. I also know that Joey Bosa for the Chargers might not play, which means that the Chargers' pass rush might be pretty much non-existent besides Melvin Ingram. And that is simply just not what you're really looking for an under when you're talking about
Melvin Ingram's on the IR.
No, that's what I'm saying. Melvin Ingram's not there, so you don't have Melvin Ingram already. I should have phrased it better. You don't have Melvin Ingram already, and now your other side, another elite pass rusher, might not play in the game either. So how are they supposed to pressure the Saints in the pocket?
Yeah, that's a huge thing because Breeze has proved that he's obviously not very mobile at this point in his career.
His arm strength isn't there either, but he's extremely accurate. And if you're going to give him a bunch of windows to find, then he's going to find windows.
He's accurate as long as he can step into his throws.
Mm.
You put any kind of pressure up the middle against Drew Brees, and his balls start to sail.
Yes, but what I was trying to say before is that Melvin Ingram was on IR. Now you have a questionable Joey Bosa who, throughout the week, reports have been showing he doesn't really sound near to playing. He sounds like he could go through it, but he sounds like he's in some pretty huge discomfort over the course of the week. So I think there's a decent chance he's not going to play. As a result, can you name one defensive lineman on the Chargers? Because I can't.
Well, it's kind of not fair because I get to see the Chargers twice a week, but you've got.
I'm just saying. Most people
you got Tillery, you got Linville Joseph. I mean, you got some guys.
Yeah, but most people, Linville Joseph's a veteran, of course, but most people think of the Chargers pass rush as Ingram on one side, Bosa on the other side.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
That's just how that works. And now you're in New Orleans in a dome, so weather's not going to play a factor. And you have the Saints who are not afraid to throw the ball around. Do they throw it deep? No, but they're not afraid to throw it around.
Nope.
I think that the lack of pass rush is going to be a serious problem. And I do think that the Saints defense, despite being awful this year, is very good against the run, which should lead to Herbert and his tremendous arm strength slinging the ball down the field. So I could see a couple of big plays. I think you'll see a couple of fast scores. And even though money's coming on the under, probably because of the Chargers' offensive line issues, is the Saints' defensive line's been okay this year. I know Cam Jordan's a very good defensive lineman, but their defense is giving up over 30 points per game. I know Lattimore's supposed to be back, which is a good boost, but still, Saints' defense isn't very good.
No, they're not, and they've just like you said, they've given up over 30 points per game, and they haven't exactly played murderer's row there in.
No, they have 34 points to the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders' offense was good yesterday, but they have 34 to the Raiders. They
gave up 29. Gave up 29 to Detroit.
Yep.
That's not good at all.
Now, Detroit's offense is okay, but still, yeah, it's not great. And I think that even if I think the Saints could easily score 28 points in this game. I think that there's a good chance they will score 4 touchdowns minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the Chargers are good enough to score at least 3 touchdowns, especially if this game turns into a blowout and you have some garbage time action. So if I really had to guess the score here, I think the Chargers will cover. I actually think this game will be close. I'm going to go with a somewhat high-scoring game. I'm going to go with 30-24.
All right. Yeah, I've got to play on the total in this one, but at the end of the day, I like.
I don't want to lay it with the Saints. I don't want to. I know the Chargers have no pass rush now. I get it, but I don't know. The Saints have really just not impressed me at all. Is there a good chance that they could win the game? Sure. I mean, to cover the spread, to win by decent margin. I wouldn't take it at 6.5. I would take it at 7 if I can still find it at 7.
Right.
But I would not be surprised to see the Chargers keep this game close before doing something stupid in the fourth quarter, which seems to be the classic staple of the Chargers organization, is to keep the game close, look good for 3 quarters, and do something dumb in the fourth and lose.
That's kind of what they do. I like the Saints at 6.5. I wasn't that interested at 7, but at 6.5, I'll take a flyer on the Saints, just like you say. I think the Chargers have a great opportunity to play them close.
Chargers will have a good chance to win. They'll punt the ball on 4th and 1 again in the fourth quarter, and they'll lose the game.
Well, and you can count on Herbert to make at least one mistake during the game.
They'll throw out at least one really, really awful interception that should set up the Saints in good territory. But he also has the ability to take advantage of any busted coverage downfield for either a long completion or a 70 or 60-yard pass interference penalty. So you might see a couple of deep passes from Herbert, especially if what we're assuming is true, and that the Saints dominate the line of scrimmage from a running game perspective, and the Chargers can't run the ball.
Yeah, without it's going to be a really tough road to hoe without Trey Turner, without Brian Beluga to run this ball. And this is a Chargers team that's down Austin Eckler, and I think that really hurts because Austin Eckler is a guy.
Is
a great runner, but is a fantastic pass catcher out of the backfield. Is he on the level of Alvin Kamara? No, he's not, but he's close. He's a darn fine weapon coming out of the backfield, and that's I think with full strength, I think the Chargers have a shot here. I think at the end of the day, the superior talent of the Saints just wears them down.
I think the Saints will win. I just think 7 is too many points to lay with the Saints team.
Well, that's why I'm taking 6.5.
That's fair. And that's why I'll look at Chargers plus 7, but I'm gonna lean to the over.
All right, there you go. That's our NFL show.
Well, before we actually wrap up, I know we were going to talk about it, but we actually decided to go right into the game. You want to have any talks about yesterday's game?
Oh, about last night's game.
We said before we went on air that we were going to consider talking about it. So.
Yeah, we can, and it really comes down to.
It comes down to that one decision on
the 4th and 1 play there at the 6. To set the stage, the Vikings are up by 6. They were 4th and 1.
They were up 5.
I'm sorry. That's right. They're up 5. Correct.
First of all, I still don't know why Minnesota kicked the extra point up 4. That made no sense to me.
Yeah, four's a dead number there.
Why did they kick the extra point at 4?
Couple of questionable decisions. That's
I saw a lot of it. I'm like, oh, you're going for 2 because you're going to force Seattle to make the extra point if you get the 2-point conversion.
right.
They're like, they're kicking the extra point. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that made no sense.
How does that make sense?
And I know the analytics show that you're obviously you're a guaranteed win if you make that there. You're a 96% chance to win it if you pick up that if you pick up the first down. And
Well, interesting fact is that based on percentages, there have been people that actually posted some models with the scenario generator, stuff like that. And they said that whether you actually go for it or you kick the field goal, your percentage of winning is basically the exact same. Almost. Not assuming you make the 4th down, of course, but just going into the decision, your odds of winning that game are in the 90%. Like, they are really neck and neck. So technically, the decision itself, I don't want to say is meaningless, but you don't gain that much of a percentage edge when it comes to winning.
I find that hard to believe.
According to some models, that's what I saw on Twitter.
I
don't know if that's accurate or not.
I find it hard to believe a 5-point lead is the same as an 8-point lead.
I'm just saying what I saw. That was what I saw online, and you can't believe everything you see online. I'm just throwing it out there that according to some, I'd say, respected people in the NFL on Twitter, apparently the percentages are relatively similar whether you go for it or kick the field goal there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I saw.
I'm kicking the field goal 100% of the time. That's going to it forces Seattle to drive the length of the field and then to convert the 2-point conversion, which we saw they were unable to do when push came to shove there. Yeah, again, and I'm a big believer in analytics, especially when it comes to handicapping and things like that. I think analytics has certainly remade the game of baseball. It's in the process of remaking the game of football, as you see far more teams going for it on 4th down now than you ever did before. Turns out that the coach from Arkansas, the coach of the Pulaski Academy, it was right. He was right all along. Stop punting the football. So yeah, that's. But again, you live by analytics, you die by the analytics. I'm kicking the field goal there every time. Scott, you agreed with the decision of not kicking the field goal?
So I agreed with the decision of not kicking the field goal, but I despised the play call. I hated every bit of that play call. Now, there are a couple factors to keep in mind. First of all, I understand your points in making sure that you automatically don't lose the game by kicking the field goal because you automatically go up 8. I get it. I will make the argument that Russell Wilson's on the other end and you have a shot to get the win right now. And I think that is definitely an appealing aspect, especially since if you miss, you still force Seattle to go 96 yards in the span of about a minute and 20 seconds. So even if you miss, the field position already for Seattle is brutal, which I think is worth talking about. Did it matter in the end? No. But Seattle also had to convert 2 4th downs.
It's one play against a soft defense.
Correct. I'm just saying.
From the 5 to the 20.
I was fine with Minnesota saying, you know what, screw it. We never beat Seattle. Let's actually try to win it right now. I was fine with it. The issue that I have, which is something that I still will never understand, and people on Twitter were trying to argue with me, and I still don't understand their arguments. We talk about analytics and how analytics is taking over the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
What percentage would you say of QB sneaks are successful on 4th and inches?
70.
Okay. So I thought it was around, I'd say 85%.
Okay.
That was my guess. And apparently, I looked up online, there was a piece written by The Ringer. I don't know if you know what The Ringer is, the Bill Simmons sports media, whatever. Okay. They did an article roughly 3 years ago where they actually got researchers from Yale and they asked them to analyze QB sneaks and to find data. QB sneaks are successful 70 to 90% of the time.
Okay.
4th and inches. So my question for you is, it's 4th and inches. Why don't you sneak the ball? You need 2 inches. Just do a QB sneak. It's really not complicated. You know why the Raiders beat the Chiefs yesterday? Because they did a QB sneak on 4th and 1.
Mm-hmm.
They won the game. And some people were on Twitter were saying, well, the Vikings guards are terrible, and Kirk Cousins on that 2-point conversion looked awful. You don't want him to carry the ball. And I'm saying, yeah, it's the difference between calling a QB draw from making him run 4 yards in comparison to telling him to fall forward for 3 inches. Sneak the damn ball. It's really not complicated. You know who's the arguably the best football coach of all time? Bill Belichick. You know what he always used to do? QB sneaks. Because Brady was successful in pretty much every QB sneak he's ever done on 4th and inches.
Yep.
Sneak the ball.
Go on a quick count. You just plow forward and you get your yard.
Sneak the ball. It's not hard. And the argument with the Vikings having terrible guards, my question is, if their guards are terrible, then why are you handing the ball off 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, telling them to run up the middle?
Right.
Your guards are terrible anyway. No, sneak the ball, you win the game. And the Raiders did that. The Raiders saw the Chiefs, said, we're up. We're not going to bother punting because Mahomes is ridiculous, and we're going to sneak it right now and win the game. They snuck it. They won. The Vikings decided we're going to hand the ball off 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and see what happens. You know what happened? They came up an inch short. We know that wouldn't have happened if they sneaked the ball.
Yeah.
So I was fine with them going forward because Russell Wilson on the other end, you have a chance to beat right there. So I do agree with your point. I do think a field goal makes sense hypothetically, but I think any chance you have to beat Seattle in Seattle, and Seattle's basically been the boogeyman for Minnesota for the last couple of years. I was fine with them making a decision there to go for the win. I thought the play call sucked, and I think that any coach that actually still runs handoffs on 4th and inches doesn't get it. I think that they're stuck in the Stone Age, and I think that Mike Zimmer in this situation is stuck in the Stone Age because I thought that play call is abysmal.
Yeah, I'm okay with if you want to get creative there. If you want to run play action, or you want to run play action into a naked boot.
That's the point, though. We're talking about creativity. You'll agree with me, though. If you have a play based on math, which the analytics we're just talking about right now, if you had a 4th and inches play that works 70+% of the time, why are you running anything else?
Yeah.
Like, what are the odds of a successful handoff on 4th and inches? Probably still high. Probably above 50%.
Yep.
But like 50. I'm making it up 55 to 60%.
Mm-hmm.
Take the 10% edge minimum. Sneak the damn ball. I don't care how awful Cousins looked running a QB draw on a 2-point conversion. It's a sneak. Tell him to hold the ball with both hands and literally dive forward, and you get the first down.
Yeah.
That's it. You win the game. So we disagree about what they should have done there, but I think you'll agree with me that if you were going to run one play on 4th and inches, it should be a sneak 10 times out of 10.
No, no, I don't agree with that. But I will say that
9 times out of 10.
It depends on a lot of different factors. It depends on how
I'm
the
saying
defense.
that you don't have a quarterback who's 5'9". Cousins is a somewhat, I don't say he's a big guy, but just lunge forward. It's right there. It's like a matter of, oh no, we've been gashing them the entire game on the ground, so we're going to run the ball. I'm like, sure, but you just made a 4th and inches, roughly 4th and 2 when you hand the ball off behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, you have to realize that I back a team that goes for it on 4th down a lot, and I don't think Andy Reid will ever run another quarterback sneak with Pat Mahomes. So
that's fair, but that's also because of an injury thing that happened in a fluke situation.
Right. So we get used to seeing a lot of creativity on 4th down. So I'm a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan.
Is that 4th and inches, or that's just any 4th down?
It
sounds like more 4th and 2, 4th and 4 type of range, which I'm fine with. But
any 4th down, the Chiefs are not going to sneak the ball. They're not going to do it.
Well, that's because Mahomes had an injury scare. But I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. So there are other options. So
I think there are other options, but I think in that situation, in the 4th quarter, with roughly a minute and a half to go against the Seattle team that you have pretty much not beaten in the last 10 years, just sneak the ball.
Well, Zimmer's over there saying, well, so if we can't pick up 6 inches, we don't deserve to win. Well, guess what? You don't. So you didn't, and you don't. Good point.
That's how I view it.
Is he going to be the next one gone, Scott?
Who?
Is Zimmer going to be the next one gone?
No. I think the next one. Then again, I don't know what the hell the Jets are doing with Gase. I got no idea what they're doing with Gase. I don't even know what Detroit's doing with Patricia. I don't know what's going on. Do I think Zimmer's going to be gone? No, because they did make the playoffs for the last. They have been at least appearing in the postseason in recent years. And even though the defense hasn't been as good as it normally is, they have a ton of injuries and a really young secondary. And it's also not Zimmer's fault that the front office decided to pay Kirk Cousins $100-something million. So there's a lot of factors that aren't all Zimmer's blame. The defense definitely the team is underachieved, but I think you'll agree that missing Hunter on the defensive line hurts. They traded Everson Griffin. Ngakoue has not panned out at all. Cousins still looks lost.
Even Xavier Rose is having a good season.
I was going to say the secondary is awful. They have a very, very young secondary, and nobody's really any good. I think they will be good, maybe, but I'm not going to blame Zimmer. I think that his job for now is safe. I think it's a down year, and I think that you might agree with me there that there are worse coaches in the league who deserve to be fired a lot sooner than Mike Zimmer.
True. Just you just never know where management's going to be and where the fan base is and things like that. So, all right, man, that you get that off your chest.
Yeah, I mean, if we say we're going to talk about it, I just don't understand why teams don't QB sneak the ball, and I'll give Gruden props for actually doing what was obvious and winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I view it.
All right.
Sorry about your Chiefs, by the way.
You know what? Two questionable penalties at called back touchdowns. That's going.
It's fine. You don't have the pressure of going undefeated anymore. So now you're just going to go 15-1 and run the table.
They're fine. They've got some defensive issues. Andy's fallen in love with Edwards-Helaire.
He's not getting it done.
No. He's averaging about 4 yards a carry. He's fine, but he's
no Damian Williams.
No. That's a push there. This is the difference between Damian Williams and they're not going to run the ball 60% of the time.
Yeah, I'm just saying Damian Williams was great last year, and Helaire has had a little bit of a rough go ever since week 1.
Yeah, I don't know why you sign your quarterback to $40 million a year and then decide to feature your running back.
Well, the Raiders had one of the worst run defenses in the league, so I thought Helaire would have a bigger day than he did. But at the end of the day, it's Pat Mahomes. So just, it doesn't matter who's playing defense. It's Pat Mahomes.
Yep, and of course the Chiefs, their secondary got exposed. I thought with Breeland back, they do a much better job. But they were able to split that cover 2 down the middle, man, and they saw something on film. The safeties were slow to get over and slow to rotate, and that's exactly what they happened. That's exactly how they exploited it. So hopefully the Chiefs can fix that, because that is a huge problem if you're able to complete the ball down the field like the Raiders did. So
I also had a random question briefly before, just to wrap up. I know we kind of went a little bit longer here. Mm-hmm. Now that Dak is out for the year, do you think the Eagles are favorites in the NFC East?
Yeah.
Think so?
I think they have to be.
I think it's worth talking about because it's one of the bigger stories that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a very, very sad event.
It was. I was watching that game live. I had a teaser play on that with the premium pick, and
I'm assuming that won because I'm pretty sure every teaser in that game won, unless you teased the under.
Yeah, no, it was a both sides teaser hit in that one. Just so yeah, that was we had to sweat it. Obviously, I thought I was definitely
you had Dallas.
Yeah, I definitely had my doubts when Andy Dalton came in. Luckily, the defense was able to stiffen.
Dalton was fine. I know he had a sack and he dropped a snap, which turned to a fumble, but he was 9 for 11.
Yeah, he was fine.
But yeah, it's a matter of, is Andy Dalton good enough to hold the fort? Maybe, but in order for him to hold the fort, you need a defense that can actually stop somebody. And that Cowboys defense is so beyond terrible.
Hopefully they'll get Van Der Esch back next week, and
hopefully, yeah, they get rewarded after giving up 34 to the Giants by playing Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, it should be interesting. It should be the East should be a barrel of laughs this year, just like it was last year.
Do you think the winner reaches 7 wins?
The winner reaches 7 wins. Yes, I'm not sure they go 500.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure you've got an 8.
I'll agree. I think the Eagles will probably go 7-8-1.
Yeah,
that's what I see. But
that sounds about right.
We'll see what happens.
All right, my friend. Well, we'll be back. We'll be back to talk NFL tomorrow. How about that?
Yep, we got some Tuesday. We actually have football every day because you have Louisiana Lafayette playing Wednesday college football.
Oh,
Fun fact.
Oh,
we're going straight football the entire week.
The Région Cajuns are back.
Then you have the Thursday. Actually, there is no Thursday night game.
No, there is no Thursday night game. It's supposed to be.
Damn it, NFL. Damn it. Yeah.
Supposed to be the middle, buddy.
Yeah, so we got no Thursday for that, but still, you got pretty much football 6 of the 7 days this week, which is music to my ears because now that we got no basketball and all we got is baseball, I could use some talking points.
I got you. All right, my friend. Well, that's it for our NFL show for today. If you're looking for the deepest dive anywhere on the net, where do you want to find out? Where do you want to see how the Saints offense matches up with the Chargers defense? What do you want to see what the impact of no Austin Eckler is going to have? Man, check out winnersandwhiners.com. They do the deepest dive anywhere on the internet. I swear to God, if you don't believe me, go over there and check it out. They have to have a table of contents. There is so much information. It is chock full of useful information to help you make your handicapping decision, whether you want to bet on props, sides, totals, whatever it is. winnersandwhiners.com. That's the place to be. And for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, we appreciate you stopping by. Hope every single one of those tickets in your pocket today turns into cash money back at the window. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.